to thank the Marines back there making a ceremony that has me in it something special, because I can certainly drag these things down, trust me. So thank you for what you're doing. And for the Marines who will participate in a ceremony here in just a moment, I know you guys have been here doing the rehearsals. There's a lot of places you could be on a Friday, but the importance of getting closure to a career, I hope, is not lost on you. Many of you may stand on these footsteps at some point, and you honored this Marine, his service, and his family today, and I thank you for that, all right? What a perfect backdrop. I was able to escape Quantico this morning. I will tell you that I'm extremely happy to be back, a place where I've served 4 tours, to include a tour with Roberto Yanez, and I'll talk about that here in a second. This backdrop, this place that we celebrate your career, and we do get closure to a chapter. But I'm excited maybe to hear a little bit later what the next chapter is going to look like. And for the family, this is a chance for us to brag on him, because he's really special, and you've shared him with us for so long. I think it's time to get a little bit closer to home and get on with whatever's next. And that's going to kind of be a little bit of a theme here, because, and I don't want any darts from this side of the room back here, but I'm the branch head of officer assignments. So in that position, I get a chance to look at a myriad of people's records, right? And so as I'm preparing my thoughts for this, I'm taking a look at a record. It goes back all the way to 1998. But the documents in there from his enlistment in 1998 even tell a story. And the 2 things that jumped out in this 21-year career is that Roberto never took the easy path. He never took the shortcut. He always did the things necessary to get here today, and he was never afraid of hard work. And that's why you're standing. That's why you're standing here today. And that'll come out in a couple of thoughts. The way I know him, I checked in thinking I was going to headquarters Marine Corps, but the Marine Corps said no. You're going to go to Wounded Warrior Battalion East out of top-level school, so I got a second shot at battalion command. I didn't get it right the first time, but then I'd worked with people like him, and he's helped snap me in very quickly. I think you were there a month or so before I got there. It's a different place. It's a very special place, and I'm so glad that some of our family from Wounded Warrior Battalion East is here today. Thank you again for coming out. It's also a very different place, and when you're the S4 officer there, you're challenged really to do the financial aspects of it. And there's different pots of money for wounded, ill, and injured. And it's not something that career prior to that probably prepares you for. But he figured it out, and he kept me out of jail, which is extremely important. And when you're the 4 there, you're also doing all kinds of logistics that looks different than what a MEF or a division or a regiment or a battalion do. And so it was a professional challenge for him, but he stepped up. And then he ran a barracks that was scrutinized annually by the Joint Commission. If you don't know what that thing is, it's the folks who shut down the old Walter Reed because we had wounded, ill, and injured living in rooms that had mold in them and horrible conditions. And they come inspect you just like we're a hospital every year. And because of him and his Marines and the effort that they put in, we never had an issue with it. So I'm professionally grateful to him. None of that was easy. It's a part of the theme of your career, but you got it done through hard work. So we go back to July 1998, MCRD San Diego. Through his hard work, he becomes a Marine. We send him to Fort Lee, Virginia, to where he's a bulk fuel specialist, and then he goes back to the 6th Engineer Support Battalion as a drilling reservist there, I think in Tucson, right? It's not long. Within his first year, they activate him. You guys go down to JTF 6 on the Texas border. I think probably one of the longest running missions in American history, if I'm guessing right now, and it's no easier today. He continues an effort, and I hope that you speak to this, but in your enlistment record, it showed about 5 jobs that you had, and that was actually a theme that I noticed when he worked for me. He had a gym going, you were rehabbing houses, you were repping some fitness supplements. I mean, it was crazy. And oh, by the way, running the battalion S4 as a kind of a part-time job. But you had a multitude of jobs to include a corrections officer in Pima County, Arizona, while a drilling reservist, and while going to college. And so when you want to talk about wanting to be here today, that's the story right there. So he gets a second deployment with 6th ESB, this time in 2003 to Operation Iraqi Freedom. He's now an NCO, and the record starts to show that this is an up-and-comer. And it kind of made it clear to me that why a year later in 2004, he's at OCS as a part of the platoon leaders course, and that's his commissioning source in 2006. He goes to the basic school, we make him a logistics officer, and he's off and running, and almost immediately in 2007, we deploy you back to Iraq again, right? This time, I think, 2nd Supply Battalion as a platoon commander. At least one other deployment to Iraq, still here within the division. I think we probably missed each other when you were with Multinational Corps Iraq. Maybe you guys were at the airport at the old Palace, I assume. Yeah. I was out there in 08 and 09, so we probably were in the gym or something together is what I'm guessing. We just didn't know each other at the time. Eventually doing jobs at Division and MEF, and then coming over in 2013, as I described, to Wounded Warrior Battalion East, where we got to know each other, and I got to see his great work. I failed to mention another thing. On our TO at Wounded Warrior Battalion, we didn't have company executive officers. I don't know how they built it. We needed them. And towards the end of my time there, he transitioned over with Captain Haneke to really bolster what was going on in Alpha Company as an executive officer. And it really changed the dynamics of how we were able to do business, focusing in on our Marines, and it was really a game changer. Transfers FMCR and immediately activates and is back here with the division and the MEF where he's closing out. And I was hoping to see a couple of names I saw on fit reps. They didn't make it today. But Lieutenant Colonel Todd Sanders worked for me back in the day. If I'd have known probably the torture that he put on you, I would have probably tried to end his career back then. That's a solid citizen from the state of Texas right there. And then I know Steve Land is a part of what you guys have been doing. I left here in 2016 out of the MEF 3, and I worked with the 4 shop a ton. I was the FOPSO here. I know the work that this crowd does, and I can only tell you thanks for everything. It is a thankless task, but having been a part of this MEF on multiple different occasions, I know the op tempo and I know what you guys do, so appreciate that. And Rob, I'm sure they kept you busy. I couldn't even listen to all the jobs you were doing in there over at the G4. And that brings us to where we're at today. 3 deployments, really 4 if we count the one down in Texas. All of those were really in the first 10 to 12 years. And then what's happened to the Marine Corps after that, you've been a part of it. Taking care of Marines as they recover, being a part of a MEF that is as busy as any MEF out there, and trust me, I can see it from Headquarters Marine Corps. I can attest to what you do. And now on with next phase of life. Let me first, on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you for everything you've done. I look forward to, on social media, seeing what comes next, and it's truly been a pleasure. And thank you for inviting me today.